Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash, Season 4. So in the latest episode of The Flash, we had a few things go down story-wise regarding both Ralph as well as with the Thinker and the Mechanic. But it was that extra scene at the end of the episode that flipped the script, if you want to call it, and made this episode definitely one to remember for the rest of Season 4, and it all had to do with our good old friend from Earth 2, that being Harry Wells. And that is when we saw him begin another step in taking his character down a very interesting path, whether it is a good path or a bad path. So right at the very end of the episode, we see Harry Wells take his thinking cap recreation of sorts that has been present for a few episodes so far, to the time vault that Harrison Wells from Earth 1, who we know was actually Eobard Thawne or the Reverse Flash in disguise, what he used throughout the first seasons of The Flash. We see Harry put the thinking cap in the same area that Reverse Flash would usually put his suit, and then goes and activates Gideon. And this is where Gideon says it's been 1,078 days since they last spoke, with Wells then looking at her with a very Eobard Thawne look and says, a lot has changed since then. So what is exactly going on here? What is going on with Harry Wells? Why is he in the time vault? And why has he reactivated, might I say, Gideon? Well, let's try and go over all of that. But before we go over all that, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions. I'm sure there's going to be a varied amount of opinions or a variety of opinions in the comment section down below, so be sure to be a part of that. Let me know what you think of all the stuff I go over in this video. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Now, I'm just going to quickly replay the end scene, like the main bits of it, I guess, so it's just like fresh in everyone's mind before we go through everything else in this video. So yeah, let's watch it.
Good evening, Dr. Wells. It's been 1,078 days since we last spoke. How can I be of service?
Hello, Gideon. A lot has changed since then.
So firstly, we're going to bring up the quote-unquote evidence, if you want to call it, that others have brought up that could support the notion of Harry being evil, and even to take it like a bit further, possibly being a new Reverse Flash and even Eobard Thawne once again in disguise. The first thing that happens once Harry enters the time vault is that the Reverse Flash theme actually starts playing, which was something that I'm pretty sure a decent amount of people caught and got pretty excited about, as well as curious when it started playing. This isn't something that is like 100% concrete proof that Harry has something to do with the Reverse Flash or anything like that. If anything, it is just a nod to Season 1 and all the great end credit moments we had with Wellsabard or, Eobard Thawne Wells. But if anything were to happen later on in the season with Harry in regards to him being somewhat evil, then this could be seen as a pretty big hint. The next thing that sort of supports Harry being something other than what we have seen previously on the show is when he just like casually plugs in the thinking cap into that area in which the Reverse Flash suit used to be. Now yes, back in Season 2 we did go into the time vault and I'm pretty sure Harry did as well. I think he went in there. But would he know exactly how all of that setup would work? I know Harry's smart, but you just don't figure something out just by walking up to it and doing everything. You'd have to have some knowledge of it beforehand. In the trailer for this week's episode, we do see Harry in the time vault with the thinking cap on and with like orangey red energy flowing into it through the, well, it looks like the cables that he plugged into it at the end of last episode, which does look a lot like speed energy that used to flow into the Reverse Flash suit whenever Eobard would, dock it in to let it charge, if that makes sense. So this is what it looks like Harry is doing next episode to kick up the power and ability of his thinking cap, but it does look like it might go a bit, well, wrong, to say the least, as we do see lightning shoot off the back of the cap at one point throughout the trailer. So Bebo knows where that's going to lead and what will happen to Harry after that. We do see Harry putting that data pod sort of thing into the port, if you want to call it, that blue little chip thing, which you would have to think is data to do with the thinking cap and his progress so far on it. It's like the schematics and all the different updates and stuff he's put into it. You think it would all be on that little data thing? I did see some people wondering how Harry would know where to put this and all of that. He most likely learned all that in season 2. Remember when like Barry went back in time to get the tachyon equation? He probably would have learned about this stuff back then, at that time most likely. But even when he is inserting the data, he does look pretty nervous and goes about it in like a pretty anxious way, is probably the best way to put it. So Harry wasn't confident that this was going to work at all. He was a bit skeptical of whether to do it or not, and just went, well, you know, I have to do this, so let's do it. But he was a bit nervous about doing it all. We also saw Harry speak to Gideon, and as I said, Gideon said that it had been 1,078 days since they last spoke, which was, 1,078 days from the day that episode airs was actually the date in which episode 20 of season 1 aired, and that was the last time that Eobard Thorne Wells actually spoke to Gideon on the show. That's from memory at least. It was the last time they spoke, I think. I don't think it was in an episode after that. I don't think Wells was really in Star Labs by himself after that moment. But let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on that. I'm pretty sure I'm right though. But when Harry is speaking to Gideon, he does speak to her in a very, like as I said earlier, thorny voice. Obviously trying not to set off any like possible security that might be on board the system. In regards to Gideon, some people have been saying that Gideon shouldn't be there, as like Thorne should have removed her or something. But that was never revealed on the show. That has been like fan speculation for very long. It's not concrete, it's not canon, anything like that. It's just like a fan theory, might I say. I have also seen some people going on about Harry knowing how to get into the time vault and its location, how he puts his hand up and stuff. A lot of people saying, oh, he shouldn't know how to do that. And the thing that goes against this and proves that Harry should know how to enter there is that there is a room exactly like this on Earth 2. Like in the Earth 2 episodes when we went over there in Season 2, we did see Harry, Cisco, and Earth 2 Barry hide in that room in order to hide from Zoom. He was trying to kill them. So Harry got into the time vault the exact same way. And I think even Cisco makes a comment about, oh, you have a room like ours. But they used it for like a different purpose. It was like some weird stuff in there. But back to Gideon for a second. Why is Harry using Gideon? I did see some people bringing this up. Well, to obviously get future tech, in my opinion, and get all of that mumbo jumbo, just like Gideon would know, you would think some ways to improve this thinking cap, if not Thorne's information he would have on Gideon's system, if that makes sense. Like that's a fairly obvious one for me. Like personally, if I had Gideon there, I would be using Gideon for lottery numbers, but hey, you do you, Harry. I'm not going to, interrupt with your thinking cap work. So finally, where could all this lead with Harry? Like what are the different outcomes that Harry could be facing this season? Well, the first one that's in the title in regards to like Harry becoming the new Reverse Flash, might I say. Look, it's a possibility. You can't shoot it out there, especially when he's in that room, which would have a lot of, well, information on Reverse Flash stuff and how to get the negative Speed Force or feed off the Speed Force, if that makes sense. There would be information in there. But in regards to why Harry's in there, I just don't think that would fit. I just don't see Harry's motivation to do that. So I think you'd have to scrap that out, but you'd still have to leave it in there as a possibility. The next outcome is that Harry just becomes evil, similar to DeVoe. I think he, uses the thinking cap. The same thing happens to him that happens to DeVoe, where, he has intentions with it and they just spiral out of control and he ends up on this like evil path, if that makes sense. So Harry could be in danger there in regards to going evil, very similar to DeVoe. The other option that's sort of like DeVoe is that he just gets really, really smart like DeVoe did, and he just, broadens his mind just like he wants to in order to defeat DeVoe, but he won't, go down the same evil path and where DeVoe is at this moment. Harry will still stay Harry. He'll just have a much bigger brain and mind, if that makes sense. And hopefully Harry can figure it out to a point in which it won't affect the rest of his body. But in regards to affecting his body, that's actually the last outcome. Harry could possibly die from this. It could be like a sacrifice for Harry, him getting this intelligence to figure out what DeVoe is doing, give that information to Team Flash. But because he uses all this like future technology and future energy, it could, fasten or speeden up the process of his decay. So what DeVoe has in all the time that he's been decaying, it's just much, much faster with Harry. So Harry would start to, ail much faster, become very decrepit and stuff like that, much, much faster than what we've seen with DeVoe, which would make sense if he's using something that's maybe more powerful and more effective than dark matter, some stuff from the future. So Harry could be heading down that road, but he's willing to sacrifice himself in order to defeat this, this guy that's really been getting a leg up on Team Flash basically the whole season. In regards to Harry being like secretly Thorne, like just similar to him possibly being a new Reverse Flash, it's a possibility. I just don't think the show would recycle that plot again. I know in the Crisis on Earth X crossover, Wells, or Eobard Thawne, sorry, back then, did say you won't know what face I'm wearing next time and stuff, which could be like a throw off to saying, well, next time I'm just going to be wearing this exact same face and I'm going to be pretending to be your good old mate Earth 2 Harry. That could be what he was referencing, but I just can't see them recycling this plot. I think they'll use Reverse Flash in another way in a future season, and I don't think they would use it at this point in the season. I just really can't see it happening, to be completely honest. As I said, it's still a possibility. Like all of those ones I've just listed, all those outcomes are still possible. There's still a possibility of them happening. But I think Harry being Thawne again, I just can't see it happening, to be completely honest. But if you think it could happen, let me know in the comments section down below, like how and why you think it should happen. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like in the video to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what I went over in the video. I'm sure there's going to be a variety of opinions, I guess you could say, in the comments, so let me know all of them down there. And of course, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.